I want to talk about something. I have a theory, and this video is going to be proof of my theory. In 3 years' time, I'm going to rewatch this video and I'm going to be like, I fucking knew it, my theory came true. In 3 years' time, if my theory comes true, I should be bigger, a lot bigger than this. Because to be honest, I'm not like skinny by any means, but I'm definitely not as big as I should be. I'm going to show you my physique right now, right? So, shut up.
She shake it like jelly, jelly, jelly.
But that means I like kind of, but I'm also not like, I'm like,
She shake it like jelly, jelly, jelly.
Obviously, as of recent, there's been a lot of hatred for science-based lifting, or at the very least, controversy. I started lifting when I was 16 years old, and it was because I was watching a lot of videos on Reddit about bodybuilding and fitness. The online fitness community is regressive, but it tries to paint itself as more enlightened, more educated, and to be frank, it's quite pretentious. At the moment, the fitness community is all about tracking. It's all about metrics. It's all about objective metrics. But when it comes to bodybuilding, I think bodybuilding can and should be a more holistic approach. I kind of realized just how that could lead people down a faulty path. You end up intellectualizing what should be like a somatic experience. What I mean is it should be like a felt experience. Bodybuilding should be something that helps you get in touch with your body, getting in touch with what I'm going to term body intelligence. Reddit goes through these cycles where they just adopt a new dogma each time. So at the time, the dogma was if it fits your macros, starting strength, powerlifting programs, it was telling you not to train your abs, don't train your arms, biceps, don't train bro movements, focus on form and all that. And to be honest, I often reflect on those time periods and I often think, where would I be had I not followed that dogma? If I just went to the gym and lifted to my body's content. Because at the time, I was a very intuitive person. I was very instinctive. But the dogma at the time told you like, oh, if you're intuitive, if you're instinctive, you're a meathead, you're an idiot. Like intelligence doesn't come from your body, it comes from your mind. Where they're basically delegating from internal awareness to external anchors, if that makes sense. So proponents in this field, they'll talk about how that's the right way to lift, how it's the intelligent way to lift, it's intelligent programming. Sure, I'm sure some of the information you read about can be technically considered factual, but is it practical? Does it help you out in life? Does it make you happier? And I feel like it's a thing a lot of people in bodybuilding don't talk about. They don't really look at bodybuilding as a part of a bigger picture. They don't look at it as this is something that can nourish and enrich your life. There's two types of people when it comes to lifting. There's going to be the type A, which researches everything and just wants to read about lifting before they've ever actually lifted. They want to basically read about life instead of living life. And I fall in that camp, or at least I used to fall into that camp. And then there's the type B person who just watches 3 videos on how to lift and they go in and they experiment and they find their own way into lifting. And it's ironic because Type A will try and convince you that Type B is stupid and Type A's way is optimal or better or more intelligent. But who ends up usually looking better? It's Type B. It's crazy because, the results speak for themselves. And I feel like whenever people try and say that, the people in Type A camp will try and convince you like, oh, that's just anti-intellectualism. No, it's not anti-intellectualism. It's reality. It's what you can see with your eyes, with your 5 senses. Optimal lifting, the thing is, we're not robots. That's what I realized. Like, I realized I'm not a robot. As much as I try and convince myself that, mind over matter and, my willpower will be able to conquer all. I've slowly started developing this theory and I've never seen anyone talk about it online. And the way I came about to this theory was, it's actually from spending so much time in therapy. This was extrapolated from my insights in therapy that I've been making. If you know a bit about therapy, you've been in therapy, you'll know there's different types of therapeutic methods. A really popular one that pretty much everyone that first starts out in therapy will be introduced to is CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and it's an extremely mental model. For somebody who already naturally takes an approach of an intellectualizing approach to the world, it can actually kind of be harmful for them. It can send them further down this rabbit hole, ironically causing their symptoms and distress. Another different therapeutic method is somatic experiencing, getting in touch with your body. People who intellectualize a lot have so much more benefit from these types of model. I mean, look, think about it, right? If you're playing an RPG, right, you maxed out your strength stats. Why would you keep pouring stats into your strength? Why not switch to intelligence? You know, switch to a different skill tree. If you want to become a well-rounded person, you know, like people who are specialists in things, who specialize in things, ironically, aren't really specialized in it, because to be a specialist requires taking an interdisciplinary approach. And I feel like that's going to be something that flies over a lot of people's heads. And a lot of people are going to be watching this video and be quite skeptical, be like, oh, what's this guy saying? That, you know, the textbooks don't talk about this and it goes against the archives. Dude, if you want to grow, you're going to have to start thinking for yourself. If you want to grow, not even just physically, mentally, in life, and just reach your goals, you're gonna have to start thinking for yourself. I've been lifting since I was 16 and I've plateaued so many times, and I used to think, oh, maybe my genetics are bad, maybe I'm not training hard enough, maybe I need to do more research, until I realized the key to all of this isn't just pushing myself harder, it's not reading more on this stuff, it's not optimizing every little factor, it's actually just getting in touch with my body. Getting in touch with my body so that my body can guide me towards the best way to live. Experiment with it, and it's gonna feel good, and it's gonna make going to the gym more motivating as well, instead of just trying to make it like a chore, like I've got to do this and that and this and that. And respectfully, if you have a full-time job, you're not gonna just be able to do your job and then go home and do another job, all right? That's just not realistic. I hope that all makes sense. I rambled a lot, but yeah.